Okay, guys, so let's get started with the session without any further ado. Before that, a quick formal introduction on my name is Mohammed Shoaib. I'm a cybersecurity trainer certified from PC Council itself, which is a leading organization for trainings and certifications in the domain of cybersecurity. Okay. And the demo session that we're going to have today is on Certified Ethical Hacking version 12. This is the latest version of the course. Okay, and this is a course designed for people who are completely new to the story. Okay, and have no clue about what cybersecurity is or what hacking or ethical hacking is. Okay. So let's talk about those definitions first. Let's talk about what is hacking and then what is ethical hacking. Okay, so first things first, to proceed and to define hacking, it is a procedure of trying to gain access to information systems. Now, these information systems could be anything. They could be as small as a mobile phone to as big as a web application server or a database. Okay, and gaining access in this is what I mean by that is you're getting remote control of that device. You can access the data on that device. You can see what the person is doing on that certain system, how he's operating it. So you have complete remote access over the internet. Okay, and now this gaining access is done without the permission or without the consent of the person owning it. So when I hack your phone, what I basically do is I have remote control of your phone. I can access the data on your phone. I can remotely control your phone without even you knowing or having any clue about it. Okay, and this is usually performed by hackers for their own benefit. So once they get access to your device, they can steal the data, destroy that data remotely, okay, or delete that data, and even sell that data to other third-party people. Okay, and sometimes hackers are just mischievous that even do it just for fun. Now, if hacking is such a malicious task, if it is such a criminal activity, why do we have a course called ethical hacking is the second question. Now, to define ethical hacking, it is the procedure of trying to find vulnerabilities. Okay, now you're going to keep on hearing this term vulnerabilities a lot throughout the course. To define it, it is the loophole, it is the weakness in that information device through which hackers are getting access to your system. Okay, so your job as an ethical hacker is to find these loopholes in the systems, in the flaws or the security. Okay, and finding these loopholes allows you to understand what the vulnerability is or why that loophole exists and how do you remove it. Okay, so your job in ethical hacking is to find these vulnerabilities, or in simple terms, loopholes in the information systems with the permission or with the consent of the person who owns that system. And once you find the vulnerability, you provide a solution as well. This is what you have to do to remove that vulnerability and keep your systems secure so that they cannot be hacked by other people. If there exists a vulnerability already, you give them the solution, you remove that vulnerability and patch the system with a security update. Okay, so thereby you're trying to improve the security of the organization or the infrastructure with ethical hacking rather than causing any harm. Now, guys, if any one of you has any questions, please feel free to interrupt me at any certain point and ask or put forward your points. Okay, so no hesitation in that. Please let me know if something is wrong with my audio, or if you can't see the screen, just let me know. Okay, I hope everything is fine until now. Any questions or doubts, or is there any issue with my audio? I mean, Deepak, Praneeth, Ratan.
Yeah, sometimes your voice is breaking still, but somewhat better when compared to earlier.
Oh, okay, I'll do one thing. I'll just talk a bit slow, guys, just in case if you miss out something, I'll repeat it as well. Okay, so but
Yeah,
do
I
let me
think
know
is
if
it
if you
better?
miss out.
Yeah, is
Do let
that
me know
better? You
if you
can
miss
you
out a
reconnect?
complete phrase. I might not be able to reconnect Praneeth because again the institute might have this, so they won't be anyone to give me the permission again. Or one moment, just let me do one thing. Just a second. Alternatively. Hmm. Guys, is it better now in any way?
Yes.
Better.
Much
Yes,
better?
yes.
Okay, just try to change the microphone. So must be slightly better. And yeah, let's continue from here, guys, without any further ado. So depending on these two definitions, I can categorize the types of hackers. So there's someone called as a black hat hacker, there's someone called as a gray hat hacker, and finally there's someone known as a white hat hacker. Okay, black hat hackers are also called as cyber criminals. These are people who perform hacking for their own benefit, okay, without asking for consent. On the other end of the spectrum, you have white hat hackers, who are the good guys, actually, also known as ethical hackers. Okay, they abide by all the rules and policies of the organization and work to find vulnerabilities and report them back. And in between, there's a third mysterious category called gray hat hackers. They have both the qualities of a black hat hacker as well as a white hat hacker. Like a black hat hacker, they don't ask for permission first, but once they find a vulnerability, like a white hat hacker, they report it back. But there's a minor catch here. They don't do this for free. They do it for something called as a bounty. A bounty is something which benefits them for finding that vulnerability and reporting it to the organization. Now, this bounty could be a financial reward, a money reward, or it could be a reputational reward, okay, mentioning their name by the company in their hall of fame or anything, which benefits and gives them recognition. Okay, so gray hat hackers are also called as bug bounty hunters, who find bugs or loopholes or vulnerabilities in the organization for a bounty in return, for something that benefits them in return. Now, all these three types of hackers, whether you take black hat hackers, gray hat hackers, or white hat hackers, perform hacking or ethical hacking in a certain procedure. That procedure is called as hacking cycle or cyber kill chain. Okay, now this hacking cycle or cyber kill chain contains 5 important steps, and our whole course of cybersecurity or ethical hacking is going to revolve around the same 5 steps. So the first step is called as information gathering. It can also be called as reconnaissance or footprinting. Second step is called as scanning or enumeration. Third step is gaining access. Fourth step is maintaining access. And the last step is reporting or clearing traces. If you clearly notice over here, only in the last step I've mentioned that word called or. Again, that too in bold letters. The reason being, no matter what kind of a hacker you take, whether it be a black hat hacker, gray hat hacker, or a white hat hacker, the first 4 steps are pretty similar. There's no change in the first 4 steps. What changes is only the last step. If you're a white hat hacker, you perform reporting, which is reporting all the vulnerabilities to the organization. If you're a black hat hacker, obviously you're not going to report anything, but you perform your job, you take the advantage out of those systems with those vulnerabilities and remove all the evidences, clear the footprints, delete the logs and everything. And that in simple terms is called as clearing traces. Okay, now let's talk about each of these parts, guys, or each of these jobs one by one, okay, in the same order, so that you have a better idea all about the course. Okay, now the first step is called as information gathering. Again, then as the name itself suggests, the step involves the hacker or the ethical hacker to gather as much data as possible about the target organization. And all of this data is predominantly gathered passively. What I mean by passively is that you do not contact the organization in any way. The organization has no clue that someone is trying to get information about them. And all of this information is gathered from third-party sources. What I mean by third-party sources in simple terms is from different websites on the internet itself. Okay, but the organization or your target organization has no clue that someone is trying to perform some research on their organization. Okay, now the main question is, what kind of information are we talking about? When we want to perform ethical hacking or hacking, what information do we need to get started? So to list it out, here's the information. So when you want to perform a proper penetration testing or proper ethical hacking for a certain organization, you need the IP address of the servers of the organization. So every organization has a server. That server has an identity. That identity is called as an IP address. So you need to know all the IP addresses of the organization. Then you need to know the who as records. That tells you who is hosting their website for when was it first hosted, when was it last updated, when will the website expire. All that information is stored in the who is records. Then there's DNS records, which tells you what are the domains and the subdomains of the organization and what are the IPs linked to that domains and subdomains. Okay, then employee details like contact numbers, email addresses, fax numbers, physical location of the organization, and the domains and the subdomains of the organization, and if possible, usernames and passwords of the employees which got leaked on the internet. Okay, now believe it or not, all this information is readily available on the internet itself to be fetched. Okay, but you just need to know what those special websites are from where you can get all this information from. Okay, so if I show you a very basic example, I can go to my browser, and in the browser I can search for a website called DNS Dumpster. So this is one of those gold mines where you can get information about any organization for free, and specifically their DNS information. So if I click on the first link, as you can notice over here, there's an input field which asking you to enter a domain name, and you can search for any domain for your example. So if I take Wipro for the time being, Wipro is a company in India which most of you know already. It's a multinational company. Okay. And now when I search for wipro.com, and if I scroll down, first things first, it shows me the geolocation of all the servers related to Wipro. So Wipro right now has 4 DNS servers, 1 primary and 3 DNS servers, secondary DNS servers. And these are the exact IP addresses for each of those servers. Now this information is very crucial for a hacker or an ethical hacker to get started, okay, or to perform penetration testing. These are the IPs of the organization on which you're going to attack. Okay, scroll down much further, it shows MX records. MX in the sense it shows you what is the mail server of Wipro. So Wipro is using outlook.com, and this is the exact IP of the server through which all the mails for Wipro are being routed. And this is located in Japan. Scroll down much further, this is the main server of Wipro, the main domain, and this is the IP for that domain. And these are all the subdomains of Wipro, okay, other parts of the Wipro's website. Okay, and these are their exact related IPs. Scroll down much further, it shows you the complete network topology of Wipro, how Wipro servers are connected to one another, okay, and what are the different servers that are linked with Wipro. And this can be done for any website. You can use this domain dnsdumpster.com to search about any other target website, okay, and it's going to provide you the complete information or the complete history of the targeted website. Okay, so again, this is one of those gold mines, guys. There's many other websites as well, very similar to this, which you can use to perform as much information gathering as possible about your target client. And when I do this, Wipro has no clue that someone is trying to search this information about them. Okay. Now, another common question that students usually ask is, sir, is this information legal, or will we be facing any trouble for accessing it? No, this information is actually provided by Wipro itself. They need to give the IPs of all their servers online so that you can connect to them. If those IPs are not revealed, you have no way of connecting to them. But again, it is not in one single location. DNS Dumpster, this website does the job for us of collecting all that information and putting it in one single place, organized, so that we have a better idea about it. Okay, so similarly, there's other websites as well which are going to make our job a lot easier as we progress. Okay, now after information gathering is done, there's the next phase which is called as scanning. Any questions or doubts about up to here, guys, before we proceed further?
No, Shoaib.
Okay, cool. So when you talk about scanning, this can also be called as enumeration. And to explain in depth about it, I have to divide it into 3 parts. So there's something called as network scanning, port scanning, and vulnerability scanning. So basically in scanning, you try to connect to the target organization and get more information from them. So in information gathering, we did it passively. In scanning, we do it actively. Actively in the sense you make direct contact with the target organization. And again, we perform 3 types of scan. First, network scanning to figure out in the target organization how many devices are there. Okay, so how many servers are they using? How many firewalls are they using? How many routers are they using? How many IDS, intrusion detection systems or intrusion prevention systems are they using? So we need to get a complete network topology of their organization. Once you have the list of devices, then you perform port scanning, figuring out on those devices how many ports are open and how many services or applications they are running. When I talk about ports here, guys, these are logical ports where services and app protocols run. So we'll discuss that in much more depth in our classes. Don't worry about that. Okay, but we try to figure out in port scanning what services or what applications are they running. Then once that is done, finally you perform vulnerability scanning to figure out on those services or on those applications, are there any weaknesses that you can attack on? Okay, and that is vulnerability scanning. So after all this is done, after you've gathered all the information, next is the main important core of the subject, which is gaining access. So once you have all the information, next thing is nothing but to attack the system. Okay, so in gaining access, we learn all the different again endpoints, okay, and how to attack them. So to list out all the topics, here they are. So we're going to learn about each and every endpoint here: system security, network security, wireless security, web application security, mobile security. Each and every aspect is covered over here. Okay, so first we learn system hacking. where we discover how to crack or bypass a Windows operating system password. So if you have Windows 10 or Windows 11 or even any other older operating system, and if it is locked, how do you break that lock? How do you crack the lock, crack the username and password, and get access to the internal files? And then comes malware attacks. Malwares are also known as malicious software, and 90% of the cyber threats happen through malwares itself. So there's tons and tons of categories of malwares. There's viruses, worms, Trojan, spyware, whatnot. We practically learn how to create these malwares, how to prevent our system from being attacked by malwares, and how to detect if your system already has malwares on it. Okay. Then there's a bonus concept called malware advanced, okay, where we'll be showing you how you can create a malware on your own with Python programming. Again, you don't have to learn Python separately, guys. It is not mandatory to have any programming knowledge for this course. Okay. But if you're interested, if you know Python already, this bonus topic might help you to understand in more depth about malwares. Okay. Then there's network penetration testing. Okay. After system security, there's network security, where we learn in a network how do you perform attacks on all the other devices. Okay. How do you check for their data? How do you read their data? How do you perform attacks like DOS attacks, completely shut down their system? How do you hack Wi-Fi routers? All that comes under network pen testing. Then there's website security, where you learn first attack social engineering. How do you create fake websites? How do you create fake login pages like social media pages or bank login pages? How do hackers perform these phishing attacks? And how to distinguish between an original page and a fake website. Then other attacks such as SQL injections, cross-site scripting, broken authentication. These are the attacks through which hackers can access the backend databases, execute malicious scripts on websites, or also get access to other user accounts. Okay, all that happens on web application security. Then finally, you have hacking mobile phones, where you learn how to check the security of an Android phone and remotely attack it as well through Trojan attacks. Okay, so after gaining access is done, guys, then you have maintaining access, where you learn how you can maintain a persistent connection. What I mean by persistent connection is that even if the user restarts the system or it shuts down and starts after a very long time, how do you still maintain connectivity with it? How do you still access this data? So that is called as maintaining access. Okay, where we learn how we can maintain a continuous connection, a persistent connection. Okay. After that, there's last step, which is reporting or closing cases, where we learn how we can generate a report if you are an ethical hacker and submit it to the organization. What again, basic report writing, what it should contain, what it should not contain. Okay, and then other part is clearing cases. If you were a black hat hacker, what would you do? Okay, and how to prevent that as well. So throughout the whole course, we'll talk about two perspectives. One is the ethical hacker perspective, defense, and the other is black hat hacker perspective, offense. Okay, so we're going to be learning all the both the perspectives. Again, throughout the course, we'll be working on same practical tools, guys. Okay, so whatever are used in the real-time scenario, the same tools will be used throughout the course as well. So before we dive into all these advanced concepts, there's a few prerequisites as well. So since not everyone might be from the domain of IT, we'll first cover a few basic topics such as virtualization, networking basics, Linux and Windows commands. All these are covered first. After these basic concepts are done, then we dive into the advanced concepts. Okay. So again, the whole course duration is for 45 days, guys. We'll have classes from Monday to Friday every day for 1 hour each. Okay. And again, only as I've mentioned, only on weekdays, no weekend classes. Okay, and the class will be starting at the same time at 8 p.m. every single day, 8 p.m. IST. Okay. So yeah, if you have any questions, guys, you can let me know. If not, this is just a basic demo for you to understand what the course is about. Okay. And again, as I've mentioned, this course will be starting from day after tomorrow, guys. What we have had is just a basic demo today. I'm going to be taking the same demo tomorrow as well for the other students. And from Wednesday, we're going to be having our first class where we'll talk about networking basics. We'll talk about what IP addresses are, what are IPv4 addresses, what are IPv6 addresses, what is DNS protocol, what is DHCP protocol. So all about networking. Okay, very basic networking concepts. Okay, so that's going to be on Wednesday again. So any other questions or doubts, guys, up to this part?
So yeah, I have a question. So you're gonna show us how to do the lab setup.
Definitely.
Practice.
Yeah, definitely. Why not? So as you can notice, there's a class here called virtualization, where we'll talk about the lab setup installation, how to install and manage the complete lab setup of virtual machines. So we're working on an application called VMware. So this is the application in which you have your complete lab setup. Inside this VMware application, let me show you how it looks like. Let me open it up. So we'll talk about virtual machines where you have multiple operating systems in a singular device. So we'll be working on this operating system called Kali Linux. Okay, this is the main operating system which contains all the hacking or penetration testing tools. So in the class after networking is done, then we'll go with the lab setup installation, where I'll show you how you can install this Kali Linux inside the VMware workstation. Okay. Again, as I've mentioned, the reason why we are installing this is so that we can perform penetration testing or hacking. So we have a separate class for that after networking concepts is done. Is that clear, guys? So this is how your Kali operating system looks like. I'm going to show you how to install this operating system and have these tools for performing various attacks, for information gathering, for password attack, for Wi-Fi attack, for post exploitation, and so on. These tools are not available for you in Windows separately. So we need to install that whole lab setup first. Okay, so there is a class for that separately after networking. Any other questions, guys? Any other questions or doubts?
Yeah, sure. I have one doubt.
Yeah, Brenny, please go ahead.
Yeah, just wanted to understand, like, what are the chances for a system admin to shift the domain into this cybersecurity?
What are the chances of shifting from where to where, sorry?
As a system administration into cybersecurity.
Again, since you're as a system admin, you're already in IT era, Brenny, so this gets a bit easier for you. Again, as I've mentioned, we don't need to have any programming knowledge for this. No development language is necessary. This is all about tools. How do you use these tools effectively and perform the security checks? So it's pretty easy for someone belonging to IT to shift to cybersecurity. And again, that's the trend actually. Network admins, system admins job, these were in boom a few years ago. Now the boom in in IT is the cybersecurity. So most of the guys from system admin and network admin job roles are shifting to cybersecurity itself. Okay, because this is the new support. Okay, the new support is the security in organizations. So again, it's an easy shift. It's not that tough at all.
Okay, and one more doubt is like, how is it different when compared to SIEM and this CEH? Like,
SIEM, SIEM, the security incident and event management tools, that's a part of cybersecurity, where those tools are used to perform monitoring. Okay, so one of the topics in CH is also related to that SOC tool analysis. Okay, so SOC is the Security Operations Center department in a company which uses SIEM tools. Okay, so they have to monitor the data and analyze the data coming in and going out of the organization. And if there are any threats, you report those threats. Okay, so it's a monitoring job. It's a part of cybersecurity, really. Okay, it's nothing different from cybersecurity. It's a part of it.
okay. After learning this CEH, is it mandatory to learn that SIEM also, or it's not required?
Again, if you're going for those certain job roles of security analyst job roles, if you're an analyst, there you have to talk. You focus on SIEM tools. If you're a again, there are multiple streams in cybersecurity. There's analysis, there's forensics, there's penetration testing. Okay, there's again a network pen testing, there's cloud security, cloud engineer, and so and so. So when you're going for analyst job roles, a part of cybersecurity, then you need to talk on SIEM tools. If you're not going towards analyst job roles, if you're going towards penetration testing job roles, the tools will change again. Okay. CEH is a basic introductory course where we'll learn about all of these tools up to intermediate level. After that, depending on the job role that you need, you can build your knowledge on certain tools. Friendly.
And this is all related to GUI only, right? Not command line.
Again, we have a few tools that will only run on CLI, command line interface. Friendly. Okay, so it's a combination of both. I could say it could be 60-40 ratio. 60% is on GUI, 40% you use on command line itself. Okay, because Kali is a Linux operating system, and most of the times in Linux you use the terminal itself, which is GUI. I mean, sorry, CLI.
Okay. And one more, once the course is done, is it mandatory to complete the certification, or we can try for job?
Not mandatory, not anything as such. Some companies have a condition that you have to be certified, some companies don't. So it's not a mandatory situation at all.
Okay.
Yeah. But if anyone is planning on writing the certification, guys, just let me know. Because again, I have a few contacts with the EC Council organization. I can provide a few discount coupons and stuff. And I'll also be helping you in training with mock tests for the certification. So we'll be providing that support as well. Okay. So yeah, that's that, guys. Any other questions, guys? Srinivas, Deepak, Ratan, Puneet.
Yeah, one more last question, I think. So it may be small, but do we have shifts like 24/7 for this?
Do we have what, sorry?
For this cybersecurity, they have 24/7 support or general?
What 24/7 support? I didn't get you, Praneet.
For system administration or network administrator, they will be having 24/7 support, right? Like shifts and all.
No, not for cybersecurity. Again, in analyst job roles as well, you might have 24/7 support. But for penetration tester job roles, no, there's no 24/7. It's an 8-hour shift itself. Okay. When analysis, when you have to keep on monitoring, that could be a 24/7 support. Okay, but not for penetration tester job roles. You're given an application and you have to test the security of it. You don't keep on continuously doing that. It's a one-time job kind of a thing. Okay. So you can do it at regular intervals. You don't have to keep on continuously checking the security.
Okay.
Right. Any other questions, guys? Okay. Assuming there are no questions, guys. Again, as I mentioned, one more thing.
Shoaib, sir, 1 second. This penetration, cybersecurity is purely based on penetration testing only, right?
Again, yeah, that's the main part of cybersecurity. You try to test the security of applications, whether it be network applications, system applications, or web applications. So penetration testing will always be an integral part of cybersecurity. But again, as I've mentioned, there are the domains as well. There are the subdomains as well. Like again, network analysis, okay, network monitoring, or forensics. Okay, so these are other streams in cybersecurity. But the most leading field right now in cybersecurity is penetration testing itself, trying to test applications from time to time and check what vulnerabilities exist and how do you remove those vulnerabilities. What is the solution or what is the patch for it? That's all related to penetration testing.
So it is a tool based only, you meant to say, like, correct?
Definitely, there's tools for that.
Okay, got it.
Any other questions, guys? Okay. So yeah, again, one more time, just to repeat it, guys. We have the classes again from Monday. Tomorrow we're going to take the same demo. So if you're planning on joining the sessions, please join it on. Oh, sorry, Wednesday. So again, we have classes from Wednesday, the first topic, networking, and tomorrow it's going to be the same demo. So if you have any other technical queries or so, you can contact me on this number mentioned on the screen. This is my personal WhatsApp number. Okay. If you have any queries regarding the course duration or if the course pricing or anything, please contact the institute for that. Course timing details, course payment details, that will be provided by the institute. Okay. For any other technical queries or any other topic related queries, you can contact me on this number here. Okay. So yeah, that's that, guys. Nothing further. I'm going to exit the session now, and I'll see you soon. Good night. Take care.
Hello.
Yeah, Srinivas, can you hear me?
Yeah. Are you going to teaching about the Android and mobile hacking also?
Yes, that is a part of this CH course. We'll talk about Android security. We'll talk about how to perform Trojan attacks on Android phone, how to check if your phone is secure or not. We'll be talking about that as well. It's a part of it.
Okay. I means so like mobile hacking means how much actually I am not aware of this hacking and all. So there is everything is legal only, right?
Yeah, definitely. Whatever we are learning, we are learning legal things itself. We are learning how to check the security of certain devices. Okay, what attacks can be performed, how to prevent these attacks. That's the main thing that we are learning throughout the course. So whatever we do, we'll do it in our own local environment, in a safe environment. We won't be performing any attacks on other people. We won't be harming other systems, or we won't be again compromising other devices. Whatever is done, it's done legally in our own safe, practical environment, lab setup environment. Okay. So we learn real-time scenarios. We'll learn attacks that happen in real-time scenarios, and we'll learn what are the methods to prevent attacks on our own devices.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Okay. So yeah, that's that, guys. Nothing further. I'm going to exit the session now, and I'll see you on Wednesday.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you.